In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can split test your Shopify brand, and to do that, I'm going to use Intelligems. Now, in the past 12 months, I've split tested for dozens of 7 and 8 figure brands, and on the Shopify App Store, the best option available by far is Intelligems. Not only you can run any type of test you can think of, shipping tests, price tests, offer tests, content tests, they also give you the best data visualization in the game with all of the dashboards and all of the data they track. Since Intelligems is only available for brands on Shopify, I'm going to also make a separate video covering convert.com, which is another very solid split testing option for all type of brands, not only the ones on Shopify. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel if you run a brand that's not on Shopify and want to also start split testing. Now, if you run on Shopify, then you can click the first link in the description below. It will bring you to this page from Intelligems. From here, you can sign up, install the app on your store, and then start split testing and following along this guide to get your first split test up and running. This video will be focused on the technical setup of the tool Intelligems itself, along with a few of the types of split tests they allow you to run for your Shopify brand. Now, as I've mentioned in a lot of my other videos, CRO is a very resource intensive process. If you don't have the people in-house full-time to manage this for you, and if you're not a technical person, that's one of the multiple reasons dozens of 7 and 8 figure brands have asked us to split test for them to increase conversion rate, AOV, revenue per visitor, and overall profitability of their brands in the past 12 months. So if you want this same process applied to your brand, then you can book a free audit call in the second link in the description, and I'll build a roadmap for your brand in the call on how we're going to increase your conversion rate, your AOV, and your overall profitability in the coming 6 to 12 months. So you can book a call in the second link in the description. Now back to the tutorial. This is what you'll be greeted with when you click the first link in the description to install the app. And if you click on try for free here, you'll be brought to the listing of the app on the Shopify App Store itself, where you would install it like any other Shopify app you have installed on your store. After you install the app and create your account, this is the main dashboard you'll be greeted with. This is actually one of my clients' accounts, so I'm going to be blurring a few things here and there, but you're going to be able to follow along every single step without any problems. Now, before we do anything from the dashboard, we need first to install the theme script in our main live Shopify theme for Intelligems to be able to run the split test on the traffic that comes towards our store. So to do that, in the bottom left, you'll see the setting option right here, and you click on it, you'll see some information on the brand you currently have Intelligems installed on, some information about your account and information about the paid plan you're on currently. But the thing we need from this page here is right here, the theme script. This is what you need to install in your Shopify live theme for Intelligems to be able to run the split test to your traffic. So you're going to click on copy script here, and then you're going to navigate to your main Shopify dashboard. Now, I'm going to do this on one of my test stores on Shopify. You need to do this on the store you've actually installed Intelligems on. You're going to go on your online store. It's going to open your themes. Then on your main live theme, you're going to click on the 3 points here, click on edit code. And then here under the layout folder, you're going to find the theme.liquid file. Now here, where do you insert the script? You're going to click on Command F or Control F, because this varies obviously from the theme you have. If you have custom themes, you have both themes. If you have the full themes from Shopify, it's going to vary a little bit the code you're going to be working with. But an easy way to find the spot where you exactly need to add the script you just copied from Intelligems is if you click Command F or Control F on Windows and search for the closing tag of the head tag. So you can simply write what I'm writing here. It's the closing tag for the head tag here in HTML code. You click on next, and it's going to highlight it exactly where it is in the code you're working on. So you can close this right now, and here just before the head tag closes, you're going to put 2 spaces in, and then Command V or paste with the right click of your mouse, and it's going to paste the script that we've copied from the Intelligems dashboard. And then you simply click on save here at the top right, and it's going to save the script in your main live theme. Now Intelligems is live and added to your team, and now we can start actually split testing. So now we can actually run any split test we want on our Shopify store. But before we do that, I want to show you the Intelligems docs. So here from the home page in the dashboard, you can simply click on Introduction to Intelligems, and it's going to open a new page with the full Intelligems docs. Now this is a very important resource because it covers in depth exactly what Intelligems does, why it does it, how it does it, and there is a lot of information, education about the app itself, how you can use it, how you can set up the tests. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the setup for the main types of tests and the most important types of tests that Intelligems offers. But if you want a more in-depth dive, then you can open the docs here just simply by clicking on Introduction to Intelligems from the main dashboard. So now we're actually ready to create and run split tests for our store. So we're going to come to the main dashboard here and click on Create New Test on the top right. What's going to open is this pop-up right here where you can give a name and a description to your test and then actually select the type of test you want to run. Now the name and description are not super important. A suggestion I can give you here is use a consistent naming scheme for the test. For example, at my agency for our clients, we use CROEv, which is the initials of my agency, then the number for the test. We also keep track of all of the tests we run on a sheet. For example, you can use anything you want to keep track of all tests of Intelligems. But for example, this is going to be test number 1. Then we have a slash right here, and then here we're going to actually write the change you're making in this test. I'm going to just keep it like that for the purpose of the tutorial, and then you can select the type of test you want to run. Now, not every type of test here is available on the base plan for Intelligems. For example, the pricing and shipping tests are not available on the foundational plan for Intelligems, but you can still run content tests and offer tests. I'm going to show you the setup for these 4 right here, and the first one we're going to start with is the content test, which is the simplest one out of them 4, and also the one you can use to test basically anything you want on your store. So here there are 4 types of content tests you can actually run. The first one is the split URL test, second one on-site edits, third one template test, and fourth one theme test. So I'm going to give you a few examples on when you want to use these types of tests. For example, split URL, you have a product page and then you have a landing page for the same product that's on the product page, and you want to test and see if the PDP performs better for that product or your landing page performs better. So what you can run here is a split URL test. What you're going to do is click on split URL, click on create test. This is the first page you're greeted with all types of tests you run, no matter what types of tests you're about to set up. This is the first screen you always see, and this is a screen where you can set up the test groups. Now, test groups are the actual groups you're going to split the traffic in to showcase the control variation and the actual variation you're testing to the different groups. So in this case, for example, if you're driving 100k visitors to this page specifically, to this test specifically, what's going to happen right here with the setup is 50% of the traffic is going to go to the control group and 50% of the traffic is going to go to the variation group. You can obviously change this and you can have multivariate tests, and you can add a group just by clicking on the plus button here. And as you can see, the split now has changed because it's going to be 33, 33, 33. So splitting the traffic equally between all of the groups. You can obviously change the percentages between the groups. So as you can see here, if you change the percentage for group number 1, then group number 2 becomes bigger. You can also change control group, and you can change the split of the traffic between all of the groups, but it just makes sense to have the traffic split properly between the 2 variations. So if you're going to test 2 variations, then it's 50%, 50%. And if you're going to test 3, then it stays 33 and 33 between all of the groups right here. After you set up this, you can click on next step here on the top right, and this is where you can actually set up the URL split on your test. So for example, you can do a simple or an advanced split URL. Simple is perfectly fine for what you need to do here. If you click on advanced, you can also set up much more advanced matching for the URL itself. If you want to redirect multiple URL with a consistent naming structure to the same URL, but you can use simple here, it's perfectly fine. And what you're going to do here is in the origin URL, put the URL that of the main page that you want to run the split test on. So for the example I made, if you want to test between a PDP and the landing page, here in the origin URL, you would put the URL for your product page. So you take the URL for your product page on Shopify, you put it here. Then in new group 1, what you put is the URL of the landing page you want to test against the control. So the control is always the thing that you have already set up and you have been running traffic to. And the new variation is the thing you want to test against your control. So in the origin URL, you put your PDP, and in the new group 1, you put the link for your landing page. You want to make sure to check before running split URL test is the type of redirect you're going to be using for your traffic. Now, when you split your traffic with Intelligems select where in the 2 groups to put the prospect, if to show the prospect the control variation, or if to show the prospect the actual new variation you want to test. And here with split URL test, you have the possibility to choose between redirecting every time the user. So if a prospect goes through a test for the first time and they get put in the new variation group, so they see the landing page and not your PDP, which redirect every time. Every single time they're going to travel to your PDP, they're going to see the landing page and not the product page. With redirect one time, they're going to see the landing page only on the first time they go through the split test. And then every single time after that, they're going to see the actual product page because they get redirected only the first time after they land on the origin URL. But every time they get redirected to the landing page, every single time they land on the origin URL. So it's a very important setting. Make sure you check based on the type of test you want to run. After you set this up, you click on next step, just like the step previously. And this here is a very, very important setting. So for every single test you run, you're going to be able to target specifically what type of traffic, what type of device, what type of visitor, what type of traffic source, the country and the currency you want to target with the test. You can do this as vanilla as possible and just checking all devices, all visitors and all sources, or you can get very specific about the audience you want to test. Obviously, the more specific you go, the more traffic you need to make sure you get an ROI and you can justify running the test itself. But here in the targeting section, you can choose if, for example, you want to run this test only for mobile visitors just that are returning, so just returning visitors, and for example only from Google as the traffic source. So in this case, this test will only apply to visitors from mobile that are returning visitors and that are coming from Google. You can get very, very in-depth with this. You can also only run vanilla with all devices, all sources, all visitors. It's completely fine in both cases. But if you have specific variations or specific tests that you want to run only on a small subset on your traffic, then you can get very in-depth here in the targeting section and select specifically what subset of your audience you want to test. After selecting your targeting, you're going to click on next step. Here is going to show you a preview of how the test will look like. So how is the control variation looking like? So your PDP in this example you're making and your new variation with the landing page you're sending traffic to is going to show you a preview of both pages here. So you make sure everything looks good and the test is set up properly. And after your preview is good, you're going to want to click on the goals tab here. And this is the final tab before you're able to save and actually run the test. Now here you can select the primary goal for your test. Now here you can select whatever. You can select profit, revenue, or conversion. It's not important whatsoever on the outcome or the result of the test. So you can select whatever of these you prefer. And then one setting which is very, very important and you need to make sure to set this properly is you can select here between two options from count all orders regardless of products in the order or count only orders containing certain products. Now, how do you select between these two is for the example we are making, we are testing a specific PDP, a specific product page of a specific product against a landing page for that product. So here, what it makes sense to do is to count only the orders containing the product we are actually split testing. And if you click on the option, it's going to give you the opportunity to edit the products and select the product you're actually split testing here. Now, this is not necessary for every test, but on the tests where you need that, you absolutely need to set it up because it's super important. If not, it's going to skew your results because it's going to include orders containing every single SKU or every single product that you sell on your store. So this is going to be based on the fact that if your test is targeting only one single product and has effect and you need to see the effect only on one product, then you're going to select count only orders containing that certain product and you select it from the pop-up. If this test is more general and it can affect any SKU on your store or your store in general, then you can leave it on count all orders regardless of products in the order. But you need to make sure this is set up properly, because if you set up the wrong way, then your results are going to be skewed and you're going to make a decision on a test that's not significant. This was the split URL type of test. Now here back on the dashboard, because this is going to be super quick, since most of the steps for every type of test are similar. There's only a few things that change between all of the types of tests, but the group selection, the targeting, and all of those things are pretty much exactly the same between all of the types of tests. So we're going to go through the second type of content test here. We're going to give just a random name here. And the second type of test we're going to see is the template test. So you're going to click on template test, create test. The groups here, we've already seen this, so you can click on next step. And here, this is the different step about the template test. On Shopify, you can have templates for pages. So pages on your Shopify store have templates. So you can have multiple templates for the same page. You can have multiple templates for the same product. You can have multiple templates for the same collection. And here you are able to specifically test a template against another template that you have on your store. So what you do here is for the control group, you select the main template that you want to test. And as you can see here, you can select the type of template that you want to split test here. So you can split test homepage, collection, product templates, page templates, and you simply click on the select here and it will open up a list of all of the templates you have for that type of templates. For example, if you want to test a product template, a PDP template against another PDP template for the same product, and you're going to select product, click on the select, and it's going to open a list of all the product templates you have. You select the main control one you're already sending traffic to here. So here in the control group, you always select the option that you're already sending traffic to that's live right now. And then after you've selected this, Here in the new group is going to allow you to select another template to test against the control template, and the setup is exactly the same, but this time you're going to select the template that you want to test against your control. After you're ready with this, you're going to click on next step. The targeting here, we already seen this with split URL. Preview is the same and goals section is the same. So now you've seen template test. Let's go through the on-site edit type of test. So you click on on-site edit here and click on create test. What you're going to see is the grouping, which you've already seen, and then the modification, which are slightly different again for this type of test. Here with on-site edits, you can actually open up the store and change the store with a visual editor, which is what you see is what you get. It's a type of editor where you can select elements on the store and actually change them or delete them or remove them for the variation group. Or if you know how to write code, and if you are a technical person, you can actually write code. Then here in the styles in JavaScript, you can actually set up code that's going to run only either on the control group or the new group by selecting the select here. So if you have control group selected, the code you write here in the CSS styles and the JavaScript is going to run only in the control group. And if you have new group one selected, you're going to only run this code on the new variation from the test. So you can update here the CSS styles and the JavaScript for both of them and make obviously them different. So if, for example, you would leave the control group without any code just to have it exactly as you have it right now, and in the new group one, you would write code here to make the changes that you actually want to test on the new variation. And then after you've set up the actual change here, you click on next step. Targeting, already seen this, and all of the other steps, previewing goals, we've also already seen them. Now we have the last type of content test, which is the team test, which is pretty self-explanatory. The groups are always the same type of setup. And then here, instead of templates, you're going to actually test a team against another team you have. This requires a little bit of an additional setup, and you can click on learn more here on Intelligems. Going to guide you on how you can actually set up this. But very simply, you're going to click on the control group, the actual live team you have right now, so your main team. And as the new group one, the new variation, you can select any other team you want to test against your control team. This type of test you would use, for example, if you redesign your entire store from scratch, so you have a completely new team on your Shopify and you want to test it against your new one to see how it performs. Then you, in this case, I would suggest using a team test to test your current live team against the new one you've redesigned, and then all of the other settings, targeting, preview, and goals are also the same here. The next type of test we're going to try here is the pricing test. So here in the test pop-up, you're going to click on pricing test and you're going to click on create test. Here the setup is almost the same, so the groups are the same. The only different thing is going to be the modifications, and here you need to actually select the products you're going to split test. So here in the price section of the modification of the price test, you click on add remove products, and here it's going to show you a full list of all of the products you have available on your store, and you need to select the products you want to split test in this test. So for example, if I click one product, it's going to add it here in the selected items tab on the right here. This is all going to be blurred because these are products from one of my clients' stores, but you're going to still understand how to do this. So you select the product with the check mark here on the left that you want to test. It's going to add here in the selected items list on the right, and you click on add, and it's going to create a table right here like a Google sheet where you can actually update the price for the new group, for the new variation, just like you would do, for example, updating a cell on a Google Sheet or on a CSV. Here in the control group, you see the current price you have and the compared price you have for your product. And what you're able to do here is in the new group one, under the new group one, you see on the right here, you can click on the cell under price. And here, for example, the current price for this product is $69.99. If you want to increase and test a higher price point for your product, here you would write, for example, $74.99. And this is going to put $74.99 as the price for your product in the new group one in the variation. So half of your traffic is going to see $69.99, and another half of your traffic is going to see $74.99. You're going to be able to see what converts the best, what has the highest AOV, what has the highest revenue per visitor, and what gets you the most profit. And you can also give another compared price. So if you increase the normal price, then you are also able to increase the compared price. So instead of $129.99, you can, for example, add $134.99. And just like that, you've set up your price test. Now for price test, just like team test, there is a little bit of an additional setup required. This is all because of the structure and the infrastructure of Shopify. So for price test specifically, you're going to need to contact Intelligems with the button right here to install a tag for the actual price test for them to be able to dynamically change the price on your variation group. But this setup is almost the same from the dashboard in itself. You're going to just need to contact Intelligems to set up this for you, to stop the tag to actually dynamically update the price. So you can also add changes from the visual editor or with code if you're able to write code, and all of the other settings here, targeting, preview, and goals are the same just as we've seen for other tests. Now we're going to set up a shipping test. So here from the pop-up, you put the name in, you select shipping test, and then you click on create test. The setup, group setup, you've already seen this. Then you click on next step, and here you'll see all of the shipping profiles and the shipping rates you have set up from your admin dashboard on Shopify. So if you click on one of these, for example, the ones that you want to test, you click on continue, you'll see all of the rates for the profile that you've selected, and you can select the rates that you actually want to test. So if for a certain profile you have more than one rate, you can select the actual rates you want to test. So if you want to test just the first one, then you click here on the first one and you put the checkbox on rate test, you click on continue, and you can select the rates per group of shipping profiles. So if you're testing multiple profiles, then you can create subgroups for each profile you're going to test, and you can actually then click here on set rates. You can select the type of rate you want to test here. So flat rate to the threshold only. So this is all of the setup you need. For example, if you want to run free shipping thresholds, if you want to have free gifts with a certain shipping threshold, if you want to run all of these custom offers. This type of test is a little bit more technical than the others that we've mentioned. And that's why at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that a lot of brands, one of the big reasons they come to us for split testing, it is very resource intensive. If you're not technical, if you don't have people in-house full-time that you pay just to keep the CRO process up, then you'd come to us for us to increase your conversion rate and AOV. So some of these types of tests are actually a little bit technical to set up. You can follow the wizard here with Intelligems from the dashboard, and you're going to be able to do them. But if you want to keep the process up, you need to have people in-house doing this for you, or you need to hire someone to do this for you. And we've done this for dozens of brands in the past 12 months. But here with the shipping test, once you set up all of your rates, you can summarize and review all of the rates you've set up. You simply click on continue here at the end, and you can set up all of the other changes on the store you want to relate to the new shipping thresholds you've provided in the test. So for example, if you want to have a shipping progress bar and you want to set it up for your rates, for your different rates that you've set up from the shipping rates selector here on the top, then you're able to do that from the shipping progress bar section. And as for the other types of tests, you're also able to do specific content edits or add different CSS or JavaScript for the variations for your shipping rates. The last type of test Shopify offers is the offers test. So here from the pop-up, you're going to select offers test and click on create test. The group selection is the same. You click on next step, and here you can select the type of offer you want to run for each of your groups. For the country group, we're going to keep the same how it is right now. We don't want to run any kind of offer on the country group because it's the main group we want to test against with the new variation. So here on the tab at the top, we're going to click on our new variation and select the type of test you want to run. So here you can run promotions, volume discounts, free gifts, and free shipping. For example, if you want to run a free gift test, then here from the wizard you can select the actual product from Shopify, from your Shopify listings, from your Shopify SKUs, the product you want to give as a gift. You can select if you want to combine this offer also with Shopify discounts and Intelligems discount. You can select if you have minimum requirements to get the free gift. So if it's a quantity of item, if it's the subtotal, so if you want to give the gift just after like 3 units of products, or if you want to give the gift, for example, after a specific threshold, so for example $100, you can set up that here from the wizard. Then you can decide if you want to automatically add the gift, if you want to have something that you can click to add the gift. So you want people to actually add the gift themselves to the cart, or if you want to add it automatically. You can add discounts label, you can add pop-ups and slide outs. You can customize a lot of the things you do here directly from the Intelligems dashboard, directly from their wizard. And that's why I've mentioned that Intelligems is the best tool out there for split testing on Shopify, because a lot of these things that you would have had to do manually with other apps, with other split testing softwares for Shopify, here you can do directly from the wizard. And here at the end, you can set up the actual test in many different ways. So for the free gift, you can select if you want to redirect people to different variations of your store for the free gift to appear. If you want to edit content specifically made for the free gift on your new variation, you can also do that. So all of the other things we've seen for the other types of tests, here with the offer test, you have more freedom to use any of these types, because you might want to add some copy for the free gift. You might want to add, for example, a new section for the free gift. You might want to have a different theme or a different template for your offer. So here you have complete freedom to do that. And after you've set up all of these things from here, then you simply click on next step. The targeting is the same, the preview is the same, and the goals is the same. And after that, once you have a test ready, so now we've gone through all of the possible test types that you would have set up from Intelligems. And when you click on save here, it's going to actually save the test in your dashboard. Here it's not going to save it for me because I haven't actually set up the test, but we're going to, when you click on save, it's going to actually save the test in your split test list. And if you click on A/B tests on the left here, you can see a list of all of the tests you've run, you have drafted, the tests that are currently running, tests that are currently active, tests that are currently pending because you need to complete the setup, the test setup ended. And here from the list, you can actually look at your tests and how they're currently performing and what the performance for some of these tests. So let's say, for example, we want to see the full picture for this test right here. As you can see here, you can already see something between the orders and the visitor. When did the test start? When did the test end? And you can see the full picture by clicking on this button right here, View Analytics on the right. If you click on it, it's going to load this dashboard. It's going to show you the full picture with every single metric, clean, organized, tidy on the Intelligems dashboard. And you can see the main metrics here, but also all of the other metrics you might want to need to see from the dashboard. So here, the main ones are conversion rate. So for example, this test increased conversion rate by 24%, adding 1,000 orders monthly. It increased revenue per visitor by 27%, adding $142,000 in monthly revenue. It increased profit per visitor by 26%, adding $80,000 in monthly revenue. And here you can see the split between the control group and the variation group. So for example, for conversion rate, the control group was at 2.2%, while the variation group was at 2.74. The control group for revenue per visitor was at 2.66, and the new group was at 3.39. And the profit per site visitor on the control group was $1.59, and for the new group was at $2.01. And here at the bottom, you can compare audiences between, for example, here you have the summary for all visitors. You can compare desktop with mobile stats. You can compare new traffic with returning traffic stats. You can separate by channel. So if it was direct, email, organic social, paid social, and all of these things, you can compare the metrics for every single one of these different type of audiences. And you can also compare here by traffic source. So an example of this would be for Google, for the control group performed better on the AOV side of things, while on Facebook, the new group performed better on the AOV side of things. So you can actually separate and see the metric by split for every single audience you want here. And here you can also at the top select the type of view you want from the dashboard. So here, this view here is called the summary. So here you get a summary of all the results. But if you click on here, you can see a lot of the different type of metrics Intelligems give you access to through their dashboard. And this is perfect because you have access to every single data point you want to have from a split test, and makes it super easy to analyze the data. So if, for example, you want to see the statistical significance for this test, you want to make sure that the test you're running is statistically significant and you're making a decision that makes sense. Then here from the statistical significance view, you can see how statistically significant a variation is. So for example, here, new group 1 is 99.5% statistically significant in the revenue per visitor side of things. It's 99.4% in profit per visitor. It's 100% in conversion rate, and it's 63% in AOV. And here you can also see the revenue and profit opportunity cost of running against not running the test between the two variation. You can see here that the opportunity cost is almost 100%, or it is 100% for the new group 1. So here, giving also that you have a good enough sample size, which in this case we have from the summary, as you can see, almost 40,000 people, 40,000 visitors went through this test. This test ran for roughly a week, and the orders were around 1,000. This test makes it statistically significant for the brand to get these results and actually apply the variation to their store. And here it is, the full walkthrough on how to use Intelligems and set up split tests for your brand. Now, if you want a full breakdown on how to actually start split testing, so how to conduct research, how to come up with hypotheses, how to prioritize your split test ideas and hypotheses and design and develop them, then you can watch my full 1-hour guide on YouTube. I'm going to leave the top right card in the link for the video. You can also get the PDF version on it in the third link in the description by subscribing to my email list, and you're going to get the PDF, the full 60-page PDF on how to implement this system for your brand. And with that, you're going to also get weekly insights for the tests and the funnels we build for the brands we work with. If you want to work with me and my team, then you can book a call in the second link in the description, and I'll give you a roadmap on the first call on how we're going to implement this system for your brand. See you in the next video.